will start. So when it comes to today's session, now up to now we have discussed several topics, almost of your syllabus. We have to discuss for the two topics, right? So I think you have an idea about now management information systems. So basically, we have covered the main points, main topics. Then now, when it's come to the formative assessments, yes, as we discussed, each week you have a quiz. You had a quiz, then we can take as any Moodle-based activity. Just refer your course outline. I have mentioned the evaluation composition there. Then you can go through with that. For Moodle-based activities, yes, that is for your mid. That means that is for your online quizzes, in-class quizzes. Then when it's come to the individual report, yes, as I mentioned earlier, under the week number 11, the guidelines will be available. Then when it's come to group presentation, yes, you have to submit a report as well as you have to do presentations on the 13th week, as well as you have to submit the slides or PowerPoint slides as well, right? Please remember those points and I will enable the guideline on the LMS. Then when it's come to the final paper, right? Since this is a 2 credit subject, most probably there will be 4 questions to be written, and each question then we can allocate 25 marks. Let's say for a 1 question, there may be minimum 3 sub-questions, minimum 2 sub-questions. More than that can be, right? So when it's come to the sub-questions, then today we are going to discuss then how you can write an answer for this kind of theoretical question, right? Now, you may have experience, you may have an idea about how to write an answer for calculation question, but when it comes to theoretical question, first of all, you have to identify lots of points, right? I will show you how you can analyze a question at the exam and how you can plan your answer. And that's what we are going to discuss today. So let me share a question. Now this is a model question actually. So, okay. Now you can see here question number 1, right? The question number number 1 is related to the first topic. Now you can see here, describe the interdependence between organizations and information systems and explain how this relationship affect decision making and strategic planning within a business. Now, read this question, just take 1 minute and read this question very carefully because we have to identify lots of things here. Question number 1, right? Question number 1. Just read this question very carefully and try to understand. Right. Time is enough. Now, what you have to understand is, now let's say uh, here, right? The marks allocated is, let's say 7 marks. 7 marks. Now, when it's come to this kind of question, listen very carefully, right? This is very important. Now, for the exam purpose also, let's say this is one question, question number 1, part A, right? You have given 7 marks. Now we have to think how you can write down an answer for this kind of question, right? Very carefully listen, right? First one, you have to find out ERs, we called as exam requirements. ERs, right? Exam requirements. Because now just seems there is a one question, but here what you have to understand, this is not only one question. In the one question, they are asking 2 aspects, right? They are asking 2 aspects. Again, that 2 aspects. Now, for example, let's say here, describe the interdependence between organizations and information systems. This is one question. We call as ER1. ER1. Right? Describe the interdependence between organizations and information systems. And explain how this relationship affect decision making and strategic planning within a business. Clear what it says? Now, that's a ER2. Now, there are 2 ERs. First one, you have to describe the interdependence between organization and information systems. Second part, you have to explain how this relationship affect decision making and strategic planning with the business. Clear? That's how you can start the answer. Then you have to focus on the marks allocated. Now you can plan your answer. How? First of all, you have to write down interdependence between organizations and what? Information systems. You have to explain the interdependence between these 2 concepts. After that, you have to explain how this impact to the, yes, decision making part and strategic plan. Clear? Now there are 2 aspects. There are 2 ER we called as exam requirements. The ER1, you have to explain about the organization and information systems interdependence. Then as the ER2, you have to explain how this interdependence affect to the decision making of the organization and strategic planning of the organization. Clear? These are the 2 areas you have to identify. Now, without understanding this point, you cannot start the answer. Now, I think you have an idea about the action verbs as well. The first one, describe. And second one, you can see here, explain. Right? For chartered exams also, you have given that vocabulary. When it comes to action verbs, based on the each and every action verb, you have to plan your answer. Right? There is a meaning of this action verb. Now, yes, sometimes you may have heard that Bloom's taxonomy, right? We call it as Bloom's taxonomy. Just search and have an idea. Bloom's taxonomy. Based on that Bloom's taxonomy, you have to understand the depth of these action verbs. Fine. So let me clear these points. Now, what you have to understand here mainly, now marks allocated, you know. Fine. Fine. Now, yes, as we discussed, there should be interdependence between organization and information systems. Then you have to explain how this impacts to the decision making of the organization and strategy planning. Right? That's what you have to understand. That's what you have to explain in this question number 1. There were 2 ERs. Then you have to clearly identify the ERs. Then you can plan your answer. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, the next point is when you write down this kind of answer, you have to follow a specific format. Right? Now, since it's a theoretical subject, yes, MIS, Management Information Systems, you have to think how you can write down the answer. Because now you have identified the ERs, we called as exam requirements. There were 2 ERs. Then you have to focus on the marks allocated, right? Otherwise, for 2 marks, our students are writing 2 to 3 pages, no point, right? That is not worth. For 10 marks, students are writing only 2 to 3 sentences. No point, right? That is not worth. What you have to understand, before planning the answer, you have to identify the ERs and you have to identify the marks allocated for each question. Clear? Then based on the action verbs given in this case, even this scenario, given in this question, right? You can plan your answer. Now, for example, let's say now there were 2 exam requirements. Now, when you're writing an answer, the common format is you can use 1 to 2 sentences just to have an introduction, right? For an introduction, you can use 1 to 2 sentences. Then you can start your content, right? Finally, 1 or 2 sentences as a conclusion, right? Then 1 marks allocated for introduction, 1 mark allocated for the conclusion part, the 5 marks allocated for your content. In this content, you can explain the interdependence between organization and information system. Then you can showcase how these relationship impacts to the decision making process of the organization and strategic planning, right? That's how you can plan your answer. There should be an introduction, right? There should be an introduction. Then there should be a content. In the content, you can highlight the exam requirements. Finally, a small conclusion. Are you okay with that? Any question? Okay. Any question? You can put a message to the chat box. All right. I think the chat box is not available here, right? Yeah, when the institute setting this meeting, they have not enabled the chat box, if I'm not wrong. Last week also we had that problem. Let me check again. Yeah, the chat box is not available, right? Fine. Now let's discuss the answer, right? Let me know your answer or let me know your ideas for this question. Yes. Okay, let's start from here. Interdependence. First of all, you have to explain the interdependence between the organization and information systems. Yes. Give me the points. Yes, interdependence. How you can define the interdependence? Yes, what it says. Just hurry up. Just take 2 to 3 minutes and finalize your answer. Just you can finalize your answer in point wise, right? Now there's no time to write down the answer. In point wise, you can summarize your answer. First of all, you have to identify the interdependence between the organization and information systems. Then let me know how it impacts to the decision-making process and strategic plan. Right. Just take 5 minutes, then I will ask questions, right? Finish? Yes, let me know how you can define interdependence between organization and information systems. Yes. What's your thought? Yes.
Information system help in day-to-day transaction of organization.
Yes, very good. Information systems linked with the day-to-day transactions. Okay. So one relationship. Okay. What else?
Increase the efficiency of processing information.
Okay, very good. Yes, information systems increase the efficiency of the operations. Okay. Now you have to plan your answer, right? Because first of all, you have to note down, that means you have to summarize the interdependence between the organizations and the information system. Thereafter, you can sum up your answers to decision making aspect and the strategic planning aspect. Now, when it's come to the interdependence, you have to always focus on the relationship, right? Organization and information system. Then you can highlight, yes, as a company, you are directly linked with the information system. And it's a, we can say that now in a modern business environment, it's a one of main characteristics that we can see the information. That's why we can see the information systems. Having information system is a modern, or having information system is one of characteristics that we can see in a modern business environment. And yes, as you said, our day-to-day operations are linked with the information systems, right? They are closely connected with them, right? Information system is closely connected with the business processes. Very good. Yes. What else? Yes. Now, apart from that, you can highlight that when we having information system, yes, first point, it will support for our business operations and objectives, business objectives, right? Can you remember when you are discussing about the ERP, we discussed objectives. The first one, operational excellency. Second one, customer intimacy, right? These two objectives you can align with your task. And also the second point, you can highlight that organizational structure, right? Organizational structure. You can align organizational structure and culture when you have information systems, right? Because organizational structure and culture we have already discussed. Now you can align these two areas with your objectives, right? You can align when you have information systems, you can align this organizational structure and culture. And also it will increase, as you mentioned, operational efficiency. And we can say when you having information systems, we can increase the automations as well. Automation, right? These are the main points that you can highlight under interdependence, right? Interdependence between the information systems and organization. Good. Now we just discussed 3 points. Then apart from that, now you have to think from the other aspect, right? Now explain how these relationships affect the decision making and strategic plan, right? Now you have to write down the points. For decision making, yes, when you have information systems, what are the things that you can see? Yes. How can what is the impact on decision making process when we having information systems? Yes, any idea?
Provide accurate information.
Yes, sorry.
Provide accurate information for organization.
Yes, exactly. When you are taking decisions, you can take accurate information, right? You can take as the inputs the accurate information. We can say we call it as data driven decisions. You can take data driven decisions, right? You can take data driven decisions. That means not like traditional decisions. When you are taking a decision, you can take the reliable information from the information system, because the information systems will provide the data. Based on that data, you can take the correct decisions. You can take the reliable decisions. You can take the accurate decisions. We call it as data-driven decisions. Always you are taking decisions with numbers, existing figures, right? Yes. What else? Yes. Now, in decision-making process, yes, every day we are taking decisions. In every divisions, we are taking decisions. Then when you are using information systems, how you can improve the decision-making process? Yes. Any other answer? Yes. Any other answer? Yes. Hurry up. What else? Now, decision-making process. How we can improve the decision-making process when you have information system? Next point. Yes. Forecasting and planning. Now, you have system, you have data, then you can forecast the future. You can plan the future, right? Then based on that, you can take decisions. Then you can take accurate decisions. Traditionally, we cannot forecast the future, but when you are using information systems, because we do have the we do have past data, past information. Based on that, we can predict the future, right? Then there is a forecasting and planning option as well. What else? And also we can take collaborative decisions. What it says? Any idea about this one? Collaborative decisions? Collaborative decisions. Because we discussed about the ERP systems, each and every modules are interconnected. We have centralized database, right? Each divisions, they can access the common set of data set. Real time we can update with the information. Yes. What do you think? What do you mean by the collaborative decision making? It's the advantage of having information systems. Yes. Any idea? Any example?
Can collect all the relevant information from all the departments for decision making.
Okay, very good. Others, what do you think?
Real-time communication.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the collaborative decision making concept, what you have to understand. Now, we just discussed. Let's say we have already discussed this point, right? Now, let's say we have a company. In one company, we have several departments, right? Several departments. Now, let's say we have accounts and finance division, and we have a sales and marketing division, HR division, right? Procurement division, and production division. Likewise, we have several sections. And also when it comes to the ERP systems, we have separate modules as well for these divisions. Clear? Now, what you have to understand as the collaborative decision making, now let's say sales and marketing division will forecast, right? They can forecast the next 3 years demand for our products, right? Then these information will be available on the ERP or information system. Then these information, these information can use by accounting and finance division when they are preparing budgets. Traditionally, they are preparing budgets themselves, but here, since we have information systems, we have access to the real-time data. Then sales and marketing team or division, they can forecast the demand for next 3 years. Let's say, for example, 3 years, right? Then based on that information, the accounting and finance division, they can prepare the reliable budgets, right? That's what we are discussing as the collaborative decision making. Collaborative decision making. Clear? Then, for example, let's say sales and marketing team, yes, they can forecast the next 3 years demand. Then production division, they can plan what they need to do, right? They can plan the production process that they need to handle for the next 3 years, right? They can plan the capacity that they need to achieve to cater this demand in the future. Based on that, they can take a decision. That means procurement department, they can plan from which quantities that they need to purchase raw materials to cater this forecasted demand, right? Then one division will do one part, right? Those information will be available on the information system. The same information can be used by other parties we called as collaborative decision making, right? I just given few examples. You can explore the new examples as well. Is it clear? What do you mean by the collaborative decision making? Is it clear?
Yes.
Fine. Okay, that's all about the decision making process. Apart from that, we have to discuss the strategic planning as well, right? Strategic planning as well. Now, for example, let's say, let me clear these points. Fine. When it comes to strategic planning, now we were discussing about this decision making process. Then strategic planning, yes. What are the points? Yes, any idea? Have you heard that concept called the competitive advantage? You should be, yes. Competitive advantage. What it means, competitive advantage? Yes, any idea about competitive advantage? Now, when you have proper information system than your rivals, you can take that advantage, right? That means if you have something more than your rivals, right, more than your competitors, we call it as that is competitive advantage. Because as a company, we have competitors. If you have something more than your competitors, simply I'm explaining this one, right? If you have something more than your competitors or rivals, that is competitive advantage, right? Then here also, if you have that kind of good or effective or efficient information system, that will be your competitive advantage. And what else? When you have this kind of information system, definitely you can support for your innovations. Strategically, you can achieve this one, right? The innovations. Support for innovative activities. That is strategic planning. And also, when you have this kind of information system in your organization, it will support for risk management and compliance. Risk management and compliance. Right? Okay, that's all. That's all. That's how these actually, that's how you can write down this answer. Don't write this kind of question as and when you're writing an answer, don't put the don't write in point format. You have to explain everything, but you can include these points. Yes, definitely you can include these matters and points, but don't write down in point format, right? You have to explain everything. Now, as we discussed, there were two ERs. First one, you have to explain the interdependence between the information systems and organization. Then with that, you can explain the impact on that to the decision-making process and as well as to the strategic planning of the organization, right? Strategic planning. Strategic planning, always we are discussing about the SWOT analysis, right? Have you heard this concept? I think you saw, right? Strategies, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SNW from internal environment, ONT, opportunities and threats from external environment, right? By considering all of these factors, we can take decision. We call it as strategic planning, right? Anything you can write down under this strategic planning? Yes. Again, the traditional decision-making process, how it has transformed, you can explain under this point, right? Under this topic. That's all, right? As we discussed, now when you have this kind of question, you can earn marks, 1 mark for introduction, 5 marks for content, 1 mark for the small conclusion, only 1 to 2 sentences. Now, let's say you have given 15 marks for this question. Yes. Then here you can start from the definitions, right? Organizations definition and information systems definition. You can start from the definition. But if you have given only 7 marks, no need to go with the definitions, just you can explain the answer. But if you have given more marks, yes, in detail, you can explain everything, right? You can explain what is an organization. You can explain what is an information system. Then you can explain the interdependence, right? Likewise, you have to plan your answer with the exam requirements as well as with the marks allocated. Right? These are the two areas that you have to consider when you are planning an answer for the exam purpose as well, right? I'm focusing these questions for your exam purpose because I have that experience. Our students are losing marks. They know what they need to write, but they don't write. Or else they know what the examiner is asking, but you are writing anything else. But you know everything. You know the question, you know the exam requirements, you know the answer as well. But you're not focusing on the marks allocated. You are wasting time. Then you will lose. Right? Those are the points you need to consider when you are preparing for the exam. Any question? Any question? Are you clear with that question? Question number 1. Yes. Okay. Others?
Yes, sir.
We has attempted around 16 students. Now we have only 12 students. Okay. We'll see. Yeah. 12 students are there. Right. Anyway, I will upload this paper to the LMS. Right. There are a few questions. Around 6 questions are there. Then please be ready for these questions. Why I'm telling like that? Same kind of questions will be tested at the exam. Right? Not the same kind of questions. Therefore, be ready for these kind of questions. And it will be easy for your final exam, right? Okay, then yeah, altogether there are 6 questions. I will upload this one to the LMS. Just go through with that and refer the lecture materials and recommend a reading book. Just prepare your notes. Just prepare your answers yourself and be ready for the exam. Clear? Any question apart from that? Okay. Now, question number 2 here you can see, very easy question. Explain the concept of digital transformation. Explain the concept of digital transformation. And again, discuss its significance in today's business environment. Let me know how many ERs are there, how many exam requirements are there. Read the questions and let me know how many ERs are there. Oh, yes, exactly, right? Yeah, you have to explain the concept of digital transformation and you have to explain the significance in today's business environment. Significance in the sense you have to highlight the importance, right? Yes, as you said, there are 2 requirements, ER1 and ER2, right? Then you can plan your answer, right? Now here, if the question, let's say you have given only 8 marks, right? Again, no need to explain in detail. You can answer to the ERs, right? You can explain what is digital transformation. Then you can explain about the importance of the digital transformation in today's businesses. Digital transformation in the sense always transformation in the sense, yes, transformation. Digital, you know the digital part. Digital transformation. That means traditionally, now you have run the business traditionally. Now, once you adopting, right, when you're adopting digital technologies, to the company or to the organization, we call it as digital transformation, right? You're going beyond the traditional practices. You are going to apply, you are going to adopt Yes, you are adopting the digital technologies to the business or information, digital technologies to the environment, right? Business environment. That's what you have to understand as the digital transformation. Then you can highlight the importance, right? How it has increased your decision-making process, how it will be increase your efficiency of the operations, how you can achieve the customer intimacy, right? How you can achieve the operational excellency, how you can improve the reputation of the organization, right? How you can satisfy your customers, how you can run your business smoothly, right? How you can cater the demand in advance, right? How you can identify your key customers, right? All the things you can link with these concepts, because as a result of the digital transformation, we can do lots of things, right? We can have competitive advantages as well. We can grow our market share as well. We can increase our sales as well, right? We can do lots of innovations as well, because by having forecasting and planning based on that data, we can do lots of things, right? We call it as competitive advantage, because you can earn something more than your rivals, right? That's what you have to justify. That's how you have to plan your answer, by including those points, right? Be ready for such kind of questions as well. Then please, today itself, please prepare your notes for these questions, right? Please prepare the answers for these questions. Okay, with that, we can wind up the today's session. And I will upload all of these questions to the LMS. Then you can go through with that and you can prepare the answers for this, right? Okay, then, and also as I mentioned earlier, today I will be enabled, today or tomorrow I will be enabled your individual assignment. And please remember that 2 days will be given. Then within that 2 days, you have to submit your individual assignment, right? That is very easy, only 2 to 3 pages. You will be given a question. Based on that, you have to write an answer as a report. Then the report in Word format, you can upload to the LMS, right? I will be enable the Dropbox as well with the relevant deadline. Then you can refer the guidelines and all that. You can do the individual assignment. In the 13th week, as we discussed, and the 13th week, we are going to have your group presentation, right? That's the final presentation. Fine. Any question? Okay. If you don't have any question, we can wind up session, right? Okay, good night.